So we are back with Tabitha Waite, award-winning historical romance author who just read a sample of A Duke, Love, and Sunshine, which is a great title.
Thank you.
There were a couple of things that stood out to me in that scene. One of them was the role of Mrs. Stratford, and you explained how the whole series is around the Society of Spinsters. And so I'm curious about the theme of female bonds and sisterhood, and what about that appeals to you, and what are you exploring in that theme?
Oh, I feel like not to put it in modern, well, I guess kind of if you want to put it in modern terms, it kind of feels like a sorority house, but maybe without like a bunch of partying kind of thing. I mean, of course, I mean, they have a good time. Everybody goes and does stuff together, but everybody is there for each other. They try to support each other. There's two ladies that run the lodging house, and they're both spinsters. Then they do have a benefactor that kind of helps to get everything going for them, and they all have a good name, good reputation, and they are just wanting to, that was their dream, was to get together and start this lodging house for, women that, like, Iona is, of good quality, but she's like, I don't really care about that. I just want to do my own thing. So yeah, everybody is definitely supportive of each other. And as the books, there's three books in this series now. The last one comes out in March 14th, and they all have their own stories, their own dreams to fulfill.
That's awesome. And it sounds like there's a little bit of reclaiming the idea of spinster, which sometimes, at least in books, can be kind of a bad word.
Oh yeah, definitely a bad word, but these are women that start out, they want to be spinsters. They don't care about anything like that. They're just like, I want to live my dream. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I also, there were a couple of sartorial details that really stood out to me, like when she was reflecting on how the quality of the dress that she was wearing impacted how she felt about the Duke. And then obviously the hat pins, which are kind of pivotal in that scene. So I'm curious, do you have any favorite research resources for period dresses or period costumes?
of course, I cannot think of any of the websites right now. There are some. Jane Austen's World is a really good blog. I like to go to that one because there's some good resources there. But man, I cannot even. But
Do you
yes,
do you find yourself drawn to that type of detail in your research?
I don't want to like oversaturate and be like, okay, she wore, X amount of petticoats, but I do like, someone to get into the idea. So, that she is dressing, she comes from a better family, but yet she doesn't mind that she is dressing more common, like someone that works. Obviously,
Yeah.
she's not too good for that, even with her, maybe she had a better upbringing. So,
Yeah. No, I love it when that kind of details in a book because, at least for me personally, I have a relationship with different clothes. And so when I get to put my sweatshirt on, I have a reaction as opposed to when I have to put on a blazer. And so it's nice to see Regency characters have similar types of attitudes towards their outfits.
oh, for sure. I mean, even some of my characters have been like, oh, kick their shoes off, after going dancing at a ball because you're just like, oh, my feet are killing me. We've all been there, kicking our heels off. And if we still wear heels anymore, I know sometimes I don't really do that much anymore, but that's definitely one of the first things to come off. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you were setting up the series, you mentioned that the seaside town is a real seaside town. How did you discover it? And then how have you kind of taken reality and made it into your imagination?
Well, I believe it is this first one here. Okay, yes, the Duke Love and Sunshine, I actually dedicated to a guy that actually told me about Burnham on Sea, where he goes on holiday,
Ooh,
which yes, and so it's over close to Wales. So like if you go across the channel there, you'll get to Cardiff and Wales. So it's like in that area, but over by Bristol. So that's a kind of a little bit bigger town. But he had went there on a trip and sent me back some pictures, and it just looked so wonderful and so quaint. And I'm like, I have got to write a story about this because just this cute little coastal town, everybody always talks about Brighton and how it was like a very, wonderful seaside town. And actually, they tried And of course, I was really inspired by Sanditon after watching that on PBS. And I was like, oh, I love the idea of a seaside town. And of course, and this was another one that they had been trying to get going. And I believe it is still a vacationing, nice vacation spot.
That's awesome. I can't wait for you to go and share it with everyone, all the pictures that
I
you're going
take
to
tons of
take.
pictures. It's going to be all over everywhere.